that stuff takes priority. That pays the bills. Like that's what you do. That's the professionalism that you have, and this this is what we would call studio practice. What we're doing now. This is the things that you do in between the jobs. To polish the skills and keep things going.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I see you're off to a really good start.
Yeah, I've dived ahead. I was just talking through with Andrew and Yvette, and I think we had briefly there Chris as well.
Okay.
Just going through and building off our base layer of the gouache, sort of informing myself where the lights and darks fall.
Yeah.
And I've just sort of bit of a shameless plug on our YouTube and getting people to subscribe and click on the notifiers, which always helps us.
Love
for
it.
sure.
I appreciate the new subscribers. I saw that in the chat. So
Yeah.
that is definitely appreciated. I'm going to get my paint palette going on here. Right?
Yep.
My absolutely filthy paint palette, because all of the good ones never clean their paint palette.
It's like it's the barbecue fry pan. It keeps giving back to love, doesn't it?
That's right. That's right.
So, Kenny, tell me about your week. How's your week been?
The week has been productive, I will say, right? Because I've been working on a few different things. I've had some time to sort of catch up on some commissions that have been kind of sidelined.
Yep.
Just, a lot of my clientele know how busy I am and how busy I can be, so they allow me to kind of cook the artwork a little longer.
Yes.
And they know that, the longer I'm able to sit with the art, the better it's going to turn out.
That's a great mindset.
Yeah. And it's something that I've proven, right?
Yes.
Not for anything, but it's one of those situations where, if anyone who's watching this live right now, has their favorite artist that they like to commission often, if it's not something that's like a gift or something that's time sensitive, like a birthday gift, Christmas gift, right? You want to allow your artist to really flesh out the work.
Yes.
Right. It's for the good of the art, and in the end, you're going to get a better product anyway.
Absolutely.
Because I'm able to sort of pick up on things that I didn't catch the first round, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm able to like kind of course correct so that the art comes out better,
Yes.
So just, working through that, I was participating in the Spawnuary
I saw that.
Challenge
I saw that.
Spawn's got going on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's been interesting. Don't mind me, guys. I'm getting my water together, getting my paint. So I'm gonna dive right into this.
I saw a few people putting up their Spawnuary pieces. What generated that from McFarland? What
I don't know. It's because Spawn 350 is about to come out. Issue number 350. So I guess he wants to, kind of make it a little more interactive for the fans.
Right.
And, he's doing 4 variant covers that are fan generated.
Nice.
For Spawn number 350. So I threw my hat in the arena to see if the Todd Father the Todd Father notices me. You know what I mean? Because I've followed the hashtag on Instagram, and there's some good stuff on there. There's some really, really impressive things on there. So we'll see. We'll see what comes of it. I mean,
you've got to get in there to know. Like,
oh yeah, of course. I mean,
got to do it.
I dropped the first one for the first week, and
is it a week by week challenge? Is that it? One a week or something?
Yes, it's one a week. It's one a week. I mean, you could enter as much as you can, as much as you'd like, but I'm gonna do one a week.
Yeah.
right? And this next one is supposed to be Gunslinger Spawn.
Ooh, love a good Western.
Yeah, and I love the character design for Gunslinger Spawn.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's currently in blue line on my laptop right now. So that's what I'm going to be fleshing out over the weekend, as
Nice.
well as some other pending commissions and just kind of preparing new and interesting things to do with my kids when the semester starts up again.
Yeah. Yeah. When does semester start for you guys?
So at the studio, my semester starts next week.
Yeah.
And at the schools, it's starting, I think, the week after.
Right. Yeah.
So let us see here. Let's get the big brush going. I think I'm going to go straight away. I'm not going to stretch the paper. All right, get a little press for time.
It's deep diving.
Yeah, I'm just going to just dive right in.
Yeah.
So let me pull out some colors here. A little bit of the cerulean.
You're
Lance.
going to fairly darker image, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going with something a bit darker, so it feels more. So it's got more of a horror element to it.
Yeah.
Lance, happy weekend to you, brother.
Welcome, Lance Stewart.
Get some cobalt.
Great to have you here.
Ooh, a little bit of this Prussian would be nice. Some lemon. And a bit of this deep yellow.
Hope you're doing well, Lance. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happiest of New Year's to everyone joining us this evening.
So one of the questions I posed in our Artists of the Universe group was, what are our artistic intentions for the year?
Artistic intentions. Yes.
What are our aspirational sort of intentions and what we intend to move towards? I don't know if you're like me, but I live on lists. I love a good list.
Lists are good.
And having sort of goals and intentions throughout the year. So I'm going to throw it out to everyone, not just you and I, but everyone in the chats as well. What are our intentions for the year? Start with you, Kenny.
So I think I don't think I have 5. I might have 5. I got to go through the list in my head. So for sure, doing more things to challenge myself as an artist. I am a bit of a masochist when it comes to that. I love challenging myself.
You love the pain.
I do. Deeply. I love the pain.
Feel the pain.
Because I mean, there's no greater, for me anyway, there's no greater satisfaction than coming out the other side,
Yes.
a better artist.
Yeah.
Feeling like you conquered something that
yes,
was or something that had like that mystique of being out of reach or uber difficult.
Yes.
So definitely that. Also, putting out one of my personal IPs. That's
right.
That's definitely on my bucket list.
Yep.
I'm most likely going to go with the shorter one, just so that I'm not overreaching. Just being a decent human being for the rest of 2024.
Well, make your list achievable.
Of course.
Oh dear, that's good.
Andrew says he aims high.
Yes.
Make it through another year. I aim high.
I am high, but now he's aiming high.
He aims high.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Love it.
And so the innuendos begin.
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
See, it was it was very highbrow before I got on here, right?
Well, we knew what was coming.
It was very highbrow before I got on
Yeah, the end of civilization was arriving.
here.
But look, I suppose my list is very similar. Like I've got some IPs which I spoke to you about,
Yeah,
some publications I'm working on. So but I agree, man. In terms of artistic endeavors, it's never a dull year when you are moving through and conquering things that had that myth or mystique about it, the mythology of what we thought art was.
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
what are some of the mediums that you wish to conquer properly this year?
You know what? I feel like I should get a little more comfortable with gouache. Like I'm comfortable with it, but not as
Yeah,
comfortable as I am with watercolor.
right.
Right. So
Yeah,
that's going to be one thing that I'm going to aim to do this year as well. And you know, I may try a little oil. I'm not gonna lie. I
whoa,
may.
look out!
I know. It's a reach, but I may try a little oil.
You can
You
do it.
know,
There's
because
lots of wonderful tutorials on YouTube now about oils. So it's not like you've got to read 5,000 books and have a master painter teach you how to do it. There's
true,
options. There's options now.
true. I mean, one of the guys that I used to teach with, he's an oil painter. He's a great oil painter. His name is Ozzy Samper. I'll send you his Instagram. He's incredible. He tends to do uh these massive paintings that depict things that were popular of that year. So it's like a year end wrap up of
Yeah,
like current events. So like the one that he did to wrap up 2023 was like, he did an image of Pee Wee Herman because we lost Pee Wee Herman last year.
yes,
He
yeah,
did, the Trump mugshot. He like
yes.
and he does it all in like these enormous collages. That's like that really
That's cool.
impressive.
That's cool.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
I'm cracking out the oils this year as well. I think so. That's haven't painted in oils in a long time. I was only just started sort of getting back into it again.
Yeah,
Not because I didn't like oils, but it just life gets busy and the immediacy of finding a medium that's easy to work with, like gouache, was important.
true. Well, you know what? To that list, I think I'll add. There's this one particular painting that I've had in my brain to paint,
Yeah.
and it's something that I've been wanting to do for years, right?
Right.
And I just haven't had the opportunity, or I guess I haven't made the time. Being honest, I haven't made the time for it, but I think
Yeah.
I'm going to make the time for it finally this year because it's going to be a big piece.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's um, it's one that depicts a bomba circle in
Yeah.
Puerto Rico. So it's like in Puerto Rico we have uh, drum circles, right?
Okay.
Where particularly in the town where my family's from, there's a lot of like African influence
Yeah.
in the culture. So bomba is is a dance where the music follows the dancer, not the
Oh
other way.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's like it'll be a drum circle where the drummers are watching the movements of the dancer, and then
Wow.
the rhythm changes according to the dancer.
That's improv at a new level, isn't it?
Yes, it's amazing. So it's this paint thing that I've wanted to do forever, and it's inspired by like the Bomba Circle in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
So
Very cool.
That's gonna.
I wonder how that that music sort of has that effect with the dancer as well. Like, you know, does that ramp them up to a new level of inspiration because of the speed and
I think so.
the fact it's
think so.
feeding into their movement? You know, like it's
Absolutely, because I think it's the drums are very energetic.
yeah.
Right? There's a deep bellowing to the drums, right? So it's very energetic, very, I guess, I think in some aspect primal.
Yes,
So
I like that.
yeah, it's really cool stuff. I highly recommend you check out some YouTube videos. Bomba of Puerto Rico.
Nice.
So
how's that? Tell me about the green using. You're using a cerulean mixed
this
in
is,
with.
yeah, I'm just dropping in a cerulean right now.
Yep.
Right, just so I have a little bit of a base to work off of. Then I'm going to use a clean, wet brush to sort of pull out some values.
Yep.
Then I'm going to drop in my lemon yellows, right? And then we'll work in our shadow values that I may use a little bit of cobalt. But for the background, I'm going to use like some purples and violets and lavenders, right? Just so that it pushes the blues forward.
Right. Yep.
Pretty cool. So I followed you. Well, Thomas 001, thank you for the comment.
Yes. Sorry, I've been. I got distracted.
No worries. No worries. It's why it's always helpful to do these like streams in pairs.
As a duo, absolutely.
That's too wet. Pull that up a little bit. So who's up next on the challenge?
It is Man at Arms.
Ooh, that's right. That is correct.
I've already started thinking what to do with Man at Arms.
Yeah, that one.
So many options.
Indeed. I think.
And then I think after that, if
I
remember, I think it's Skeletor. I think.
Yeah.
Your boy Skeletor.
My boy Skeletor.
All right, so I'm just nearly finished the first layer of this cool yellow.
Very nice.
I can start to build in the form a bit more.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. So I'm not going to be very even with my application on this blue, on this cerulean here, right? Because this is just going to be a base tone. Still waiting for Ram Man.
Ram Man. Well, let's have a look at our list then.
Let's take a look. Where does Ram Man fall?
All right, so Ram Man, where are you? Just going through our list here. Well, he's on our top row. So we've got Man at Arms next, and we've got Skeletor, Stratos, my favorite.
Nice.
Tila, Zodak, Evil Lyn, Faker.
Nice.
And many faces, and then Ram Man, followed by Trapjaw and Triclops, and that's our round one.
Very nice. All right. So he'll definitely be in the first round of characters.
Yes. So that'll be stretch number one. And I sort of gave us a little bit of a shameless plug before, Kenny, saying that both of our Etsy shops are available for purchase of artwork. So
Absolutely.
if people want to get onto those, they can.
Indeed. Indeed.
And both Andrew and Lance and Chris Miller have all bought artwork off us before.
This is true. This is true. And we
super appreciate that.
Very graciously thank you for the support. You know,
yes.
It's always greatly appreciated. It gives us the ability to continue to create.
Yes.
And do things like what we're doing now.
Yep. For sure, for sure. All right. So
now,
the corn cob sword.
The corn cob sword. Yes, indeed.
Everyone needs a corn cob sword.
Of course. You're in the middle of a battle. You get hungry. You want a snack. You know.
I'll just say before, like, what an odd discussion that would be at an armory when he's walking in with the other bad guys and he's saying, well, I'll have the lemon-colored armor with the fins, the bow tie belt, and the corn cob sword. Like, no wonder everyone treated him like an idiot. Like,
yeah. All right, you're on the front line, merman. You're going up front. You're going up
with
front.
your big off the meds eyes, merman. Get out of here.
What was it? The meth eyes.
Off the meds, merman. Lance just asked, are either of you guys are trying to do the spawn contest? Yeah, look, Lance, I bumbled onto it yesterday, and I went for a bit of a tried to keep the phone away from myself for a week, so I kind of missed that coming. But I know, Kenny, you're into it.
Yeah, I dropped my entry for week 1 on Monday. So my entry for week 2 will also be put out this coming Monday.
Is the entry just basically doing a hashtag? Is that what you're doing? Or
so yeah, according to the rules, you have to use the hashtag Spawnuary and Spawn Cover Challenge and tag Todd McFarlane's Instagram account and the Todd McFarlane comics or production account in the post. And they must be done on the official TMP Blue Line cover page that he sends out in the newsletter.
Right.
So that went out on the 1st because, like, I signed up for the newsletter like last Friday.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, and I had been waiting for the newsletter to like drop in my email so I can get started on the cover. So that's out like Monday.
What do you think the purpose is of having the official paper?
I think it's part of Todd's ego, and so that everything like is in format for Todd books.
Yeah.
Because he could have just said that it was 11 by 17. Those are very common.
Yes.
But I get it. Todd at the end of the day is a businessman. So I can't.
And he's good at it, apparently.
Absolutely. So I can't knock him for that. So now let's get some of this yellow, this lemon yellow.
Lance says, "Good luck, Kenny."
Thanks, Lance. And even if I don't make it, then I'll turn them into prints.
Then you're back here with me painting next week.
I'll be back here again with Will.
Yes, I am the date that you rely on when no one else calls.
That's it. You're in the back, no offense to any big people that may be watching. I like that.
Listen, yeah, exactly.
I remember telling Melissa about this time in my 20s where I had like a phase where I only dated like fat girls.
Oh yeah, right on.
And she looked at me really surprised, and I'm like, "What? They need love too."
That's right.
Someone
for everyone.
Tell them. There we go.
All right, just about to put the brake handle in.
Ooh.
That was another one of our little things. The brake handle on the action figure swords.
The parking brake handle.
I wonder if the maces had that too. Did they have the brake handle on the mace?
Nah, I don't think the maces had them.
Didn't they? No, I don't know.
The swords for sure.
The battle axes didn't. I know He-Man's battle axe didn't have a brake handle.
No, they didn't. The maces, that the swords for sure. I don't think they were on like the heavier blunt weapons.
Right. So currently it says we've got about 5 people with us. So welcome to anyone that may have just joined us.
Yes.
As Kenny and I move through the Masters of the Universe realm, 52 of them. We are now onto our 3rd character.
Yes.
And we challenge ourselves each time to come up with environmental effects on our characters and different poses and different expressions to accentuate the character underneath the drawing.
Right.
And also to practice our figurative work as we keep moving through.
Yep.
This is one of many themes. So we are starting off with our Motu theme. So if you can, please like, subscribe, and click the notify buttons.
Absolutely.
Follow along, share what we do. It's always appreciated. It's the greatest gift to us as artists, is to get the word out there. And we hope you enjoy the ride. If you want to come and draw along with us, that would be fantastic.
Absolutely.
And we welcome you to put the post of your drawing in the chats, or even post it on Artists of the Universe Facebook site.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That these little drawing challenges are a great way to exercise the art muscle, as I say.
Correct.
Right? Because you want to make sure that for anybody who's watching the stream right now, if you guys are artists or anticipate getting into something creative, you want to make sure that you treat your craft like it's a living organism. You want to make sure that you train it, you challenge it. You don't skimp out on doing something that you may perceive as difficult. Right?
Yes.
Because those difficulties are the essential things that we need to grow, right? As creatives.
Absolutely.
That if you would have asked me 10 years ago if I would have been painting, like anything like this, I would have laughed at you. Because it just wasn't a part of my my wheelhouse, and it wasn't something that like I had interest in doing at the time. But as I progressed and as I did more art and more conventions, I saw that there was an actual appreciation for the different ways you can convey or communicate your art, right? I think one of the biggest inspirations that I saw early on was Alex Ross in the way he would paint, his superheroes.
Absolutely.
Kingdom Come was great. The Marvels was fantastic.
Yep.
Right. And you know, he has such a vintage and classic looking style to his work, you know, and I was very impressed by that. That coincidentally, in the meeting that I had today with this client, uh, you know, he referenced a lot of like heavy metal in the
Oh,
IP
yes.
that
Yep.
he wants to do with me, right? And you know, I asked him like visually, like what's, you know, what is it that he's looking for, so I can meet that, you know.
Yep.
And you know, he's looking for that visual style where, like, you know, the if it's a robot, you know, the chrome is really polished, so you get
Right.
those cerulean blues along with the siennas, you know, on
Yep.
the bottom with the orange. You know what I'm talking about?
I do. Yeah. All the chrome reflections. Yep.
Yes. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm all over that.
Yep.
All over that. You know, and I find it important to at the very least experience art in different styles,
Yes.
right? Because there's always going to be something, regardless of the style, regardless of the time that it's been done, or the time that it was popular, that you can always incorporate into how you do your work present day.
And like with your stuff, Kenny, it doesn't matter when you jump tech mediums or whether you jump genres. It's a Kenny Calderon piece. I can see that coming through. So it's when I think you've got a good handle on that, on your technique. So whether you're doing heavy metal piece or 2000 AD, or whether you're doing something as random as this, it's or Pokemon. You know, I think that's your developed style is always going to come through with that stuff. So if you are collecting Kenny's works, they all marry together.
Oh well, I appreciate that. Well, I mean, you know, it's one of the things that it wasn't something that I paid attention to,
Yeah.
you know, because I used to make the mistake of being one of like a fad artist,
Right.
right? Like the guy that would just emulate this particular style because it's like in right now,
Yes.
you
Yep.
know. Like I think we all at
Oh,
some
you're one
point,
of them.
yeah. You know what I mean? Like I think at one point or
Oh, look.
another, we all fell victim of like doing things with a lot of pouches and the
Yes. A lot of
you
lines on the faces. Yeah. Yeah. We've all been there.
know,
Yes.
we've all fallen victim to that.
Yes.
But yeah, man. I mean, I think it's important that, sure, explore different styles and how they can, uh, I guess, be absorbed
Right.
by by your workflow.
Yep. And
Um,
I think too, question why it's popular. Like why are people moving towards this style? And it helps you to understand how that fits in with what you do.
true, true.
You know, like that '90s patches, and you know that was a rock and roll era. You know, it was
Indeed. Yeah, it was, you know, it was the time for, I think it was like peak action movie
yeah,
uh era, you know, the big buff tough guys,
yeah.
you know, walking away from explosions like Joe Ryan, you know.
Absolutely, with the explosion, factory explosion behind him.
You know what I mean? That's an inside joke for those of you that aren't familiar with our streams. Uh, but yeah, Joe, you know, the that type of aesthetic.
Yes.
Heavy metal has some great issues. Sadly, my experience with their trades have been that that they felt, I guess they fell apart after reading. This was some years ago. So you mean like physically or like story wise, Andrew?
If it's physically, I can understand that. I had the same thing with 2000 AD. They just collapsed after a bit.
Oh, okay. So like I
Yeah.
guess the production of the
Yeah,
book wasn't
physically
good.
fell apart. Yeah.
The production of the book wasn't great. I got
Yeah.
you.
Yes. Binding is important.
Especially if you're doing something so dense,
Yes. Yeah.
right? You want to make sure that it holds.
He said he had the same problem with Top Cow books. They just fell apart.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember that too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The Top Cow books. I mean, for all of the visual glitz and glamour that you see inside the books, they were very well produced books.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of art. You know, because Top Cow, that's Mark Silvestri.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And he commanded the best, didn't he? Like he
It,
expected. He's here for a while. His stable of artists outshone many of the image um, publishing companies that were coming out.
100%, 100%. But yeah, if it got to a point where like you had to purchase one to read and the other one to store.
Yes. Yeah. Don't they love to hear that?
Yeah, I'm telling you. So I like Pat Mills and his work with Oliver LaJoy. Heavy metal was the place to get it in the USA. Oh yeah, for sure. That I think heavy metal was and still is one of those one of those books where like you can find um, a lot of like underground talent,
Yes.
you know, like talent that deserves to be mainstream, but like it serves it well that it's not. You know what I mean?
Well, it still has the reputation in the illustration world as a bridge
True.
between the comic world and illustrative people, whether they are working sci-fi or sword and sorcery or just commercial illustration. It's kind of a bridge between those two. You know,
Yeah.
it's accessible.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas sometimes getting into comic work is a little bit trickier.
Yeah, true. Now we're gonna switch brushes into something a little smaller.
How's that painting come along?
Good so far. I'm gonna try and make this yellow in his face a bit more yellow because I didn't want to go flat like straight up with the lemon yellow in his
Yeah.
face.
Yep.
So we got a little bit of green in there, which is fine, right? Because I'm still gonna push a lot of the front portion of his body into shadow because I want it to feel
Yep.
murky, so that the water sort of like reflects a lot of light.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna work in some denser yellows in here. That's really dry. Let's get a little more water. Here we go. That's better.
So Andrew's saying he still backs Kickstarters, but I have lessened up my pace from its heyday. Shipping costs are just brutal over here, especially international. He's in the USA.
Ooh. So I can't really speak to that. I mean, when it comes to international things with Kickstarter, like my knowledge on Kickstarter is very very limited. I've been a part of a few, but like when it comes to the logistics aspect of it, I'm a bit naive. But I will say though that when it comes to the shipping aspect, when it comes to international shipping, it almost like defeats the purpose of like offering international shipping, which like kills the content creator because it's like, you know, you don't want to miss out on that on you know on the other side of the fandom.
Yeah, it's almost something you've got to build into the cost, I
Yeah,
think. I mean, if you're going to open it up for international orders, then you've got to build it into the final cost of the book,
yeah,
which, you know, it does put the price up a bit
yeah.
or reduces profit margins. But I suppose it really depends on your end result too, doesn't it?
True.
Like what kind of book do you want? Is it a 22 page or is it a graphic novel?
Yeah, I guess it would make sense for like the bigger books.
Yeah.
It makes sense for the bigger books to do that. You know, it wouldn't be financially uh, sound to do it on a smaller publication.
Yeah. Greg Johnson stopping in to say good day. Happy birthday,
Craig, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Greg. And yes, you're doing great. Hope you're doing well as well.
Indeed.
So Andrew says, I've sent some stuff to Andrew Shaw, but it has been years. Yes, Andrew's a big Moon Knight fan. So Kenny Andrew is the writer that wrote Cul-de-sac, the book that I did with him years ago, about 10 years ago now.
Sweet. Yeah, that cul-de-sac came out great.
So that's 10 years old. Got
Yeah,
we were pretty happy with the end result. That was the first time we'd self-published. And Andrew and I met on a book that we did previously called Fireside Tales, where we did a small anthology piece. Because Andrew's a massive horror fan, and anything to know, he runs his own podcast too. Like anything to do with horror, Andrew's the man.
Oh, sweet.
It's very and a great writer. Like just very easy to work with. I like people that are easy to work with.
Yeah. Cul-de-sac. I was very impressed. I dug it a lot.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Thanks, man.
I dug it a lot. That you definitely have the knack for horror. Like the way you depict horror imagery is like it's great. It's top notch.
That's that could probably get me incarcerated, but locked up in a padded room somewhere.
No, not at all. I mean, look,
if they give me a palette and some canvas, that's all right.
Yeah.
3 hots on a cot, I could do that.
You know what I mean? But you know, at the end of the day, like the fact that you're able to depict this imagery in such a convincing manner, like that's a testament to you as an artist.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I mean, I guess it's something that's look, I enjoy that stuff anyway, being an 80s kid.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always something that was piled high on top of the video player at home when I was younger, because mum and dad are big horror fans. But I guess it's just fun to put the art sensibilities that went into like the posters of the 80s horror books into something that was not just a poster. So,
right.
You know, and there's a lot of great artists doing similar things, you know, like people like Terry Wolfinger does a lot of his horror stuff in realism. So it's almost like, and he works in oils. You can go see when you go to convention, he does, you know, he'll do like a brand, like a Boris Karloff, or he'll do you do a Dracula in oil painting, you know, so he does some beautiful work. Yeah, beautiful. Terry Wolfinger, his name is.
At a con?
Yeah, he does all of the, he's stateside, so he does mainly the horror conventions. So Monsterpalooza, Texas Frightmare weekends, things like that. So he often does those. And he's all over the Instagrams and stuff, and follow his work. He's very good. Thank you, Andrew. Also has Fireside Tales. That was the first time I had ever used gouache. Was Fireside Tales. I did it in just black wash and ink.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was a bit of fun, and it was the case where I was under a bit of a deadline because the previous artist on Fireside, for whatever reason, for the book that I did with Andrew, pulled out. I don't know what happened to him.
Mm.
And so that's when Steve Sparks, the editor and publisher, reached out to me and just said, I'll put you guys together and we'll do something. So it came together pretty quickly.
Nice.
But yeah, interesting. Great story. Andrew wrote a great story. It's a take on the Crossroads story.
Ooh, okay.
With the guitar, and he was a deaf guitarist. He wanted to be big, so he sold his soul at the Crossroads.
Love it.
Yeah, really good. And it's out of print, so hold on to it, Andrew. Hold on to it. There's not many left.
Very nice. Yeah, if you got like a PDF of that.
Yeah, I've got some. I'll send it. I'll email them over to you.
Yeah, email me that. I've when it comes to like folklore horror, right? I guess if you can even consider that like a genre, right? When it comes to
sure.
That, I love that kind of horror.
Yeah.
Where it really explores, the human psychology.
Yes.
On like what they would do, out of just hubris.
Yeah.
For
sure.
Like that stuff has always been like super interesting to me.
So when we came up with the concept for Cul-de-sac, it was a similar thing. We wanted the aesthetic of kind of like the old Golden Books 1950s illustration.
Yeah.
But we wanted to do a anthology, but one that was all linked together.
Ooh, okay.
So that's what it is. So each house in this street of 1950s Australia is all linked together with some sort of horrific, weird, twisted tale.
I love it.
And it was the idea too, like the old EC comics where, what goes around comes around sort of thing. That was the comeuppance was the cul-de-sac. What goes around comes around. So that was the premise for it.
I love it. Once we wrap up the stream, I gotta talk to you about a book that I think I'll send out to you that I think you'll really like. It's a book called The Gun.
Oh.
Right, and it's from a publisher that I worked with extensively here in Florida about a haunted German Ruger.
Nice.
Right, that ends up being passed along to different hands, but
yes,
as the Ruger gets passed over to these different people, so like every story of the gun is a different story, but it's still the same gun.
Right.
It brings the possessor of the gun a lot of misfortune.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice. It's going to be a good story, a horror story, when it's got the in front of it. the gun, the
Indeed.
myth, the fog, the thing.
Absolutely. And I was impressed. I dug it. I dug it a lot.
Nice.
Because it had that monkey's paw kind of vibe to it.
Yes. Yeah.
And the same publisher, they put out a series of books called Tommy that I did various covers for, where the same shop where Tommy gets his rabbit from, his pet rabbit that turns out to be a psychopath. So
Of course.
For context, Tommy's a little kid, probably
Yeah.
about 5, 6 years old, right?
Right.
And he's given a pet rabbit, right?
Yeah.
That he calls Jack. Now, Jack uh, is a psychopath. Like he's a serial killer,
Yes.
right? So when it's like a twisted story of Calvin and Hobbes,
Yes. Of
right?
Harvey. Yeah.
Right. So it's like when no one's around, Jack is this cute rabbit, right?
Right.
But when he's alone with Tommy, he turns into a life size the rabbit's the size of a man,
Wow.
right? And his face contorts, so his features look a bit more humanoid, right? And he tries
Yeah.
to get Tommy to do these really nefarious things. So because Tommy's so shy, and he's at the end of the day he's a little boy, Jack does it anyway. Right? Jack does it anyway, and Tommy always ends up getting blamed for it.
It sounds
You
to me
know,
like Tommy's the problem.
right. So the way the point that I was getting to is that Jack was purchased in the same store where the gun was purchased.
Ah, right. So there's something going on. Yeah.
Indeed.
Nice.
So like that's the thing that kind of like ties all of their books together. That one.
The
shot.
one catalyst. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, what's Andrew put up there? Is it Stabbity Bunny?
Stabbity Bunny? No, this is not Stabbity Bunny.
But it sounds like it should be now.
So fun fact: the guy that started Tommy has kind of like a beef with the people from Stabbity Bunny.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Because Stabbity Bunny was I guess like Stabbity Bunny became popular after
Oh, I see.
Tommy, but like
That's hilarious.
yeah. So and it was
Well, kind of hilarious if you're from the outside looking in. Not hilarious for.
but it was one of those things where like I wasn't privy to it until like I was at a show where like the publisher that I was working with was there with the same people from Stabbity Bunny.
Oh.
And I'm like, man, why is John in such a foul mood?
Yeah.
And it was because of that, dude.
He's been in his second knife fight today. Like, what's going on?
You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's fun stuff at convention.
Yeah. The ins and outs of the comic world, eh?
I'm telling you. I'm just gonna work in some of this lemon yellow to make his face look a little bumpy, right? And bring forth some of that texture. And then I'm gonna get in there with the eyes. Now I'm gonna darken this side of his face, right? So it feels like one half of his face is like dropped into shadow, right? And this will like lay in some great groundwork for the whites that I'm gonna drop in there. And then we got his non neck underneath.
He's scrumpled paper neck.
Yeah, the paper neck. Thank you. The paper neck.
Watch out for that paper neck.
Now, I'm curious. Does the jewel on his chest plate have a color?
Well, on the original design, it does not.
It doesn't.
Right.
Oh, I see.
So it does not. But later drawings of it, they've made it more jewel-like. And look at his weird sort of flying fish belt buckle.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a shield. It's a shield shape. But when you see later iterations, it's more like an orb.
I see.
It's hard to say, Kenny. I think you can make some creative choices there, really.
Okay, good. Because I didn't want to stray too far from the toy
Yeah.
design, right? I didn't want to get too loose.
So I've started putting in some alizarin crimson in with the green for the
Ooh,
darkness under the neck
that's a good idea.
to start making the other green areas sort of pop
Yeah.
a little bit more, so it's not straight black. And I sort of mixed in a little bit of that same red, but I've grayed it down with some black to do the inside of the mouth to give it a real sort of grayish sort of fish mouth. So it doesn't look too cartoonish, if that makes sense.
Right. It's he's got that deep sea, predator look in his eyes. I like it.
The empty look.
Yeah.
The good old empty look. It goes to the off meds mermaid has the drop jaw and the 1,000-yard stare. The 1,000-yard stare.
Let's see. We add a little. Oh, okay. This little green. Green could be very good. Let's see if we can add a bit of this green. Let's see how that reacts. That might be too bright.
Old Nora Merman.
Indeed. Let me get some of this green in here. So, because I want to keep this relatively colder, the green that I'm dropping in here is a bit of a forest green to mix in with the cerulean. So we insinuate the teal.
Yes. And Andrew, I'm going to say I love Earl as well. I mean, great illustrator of Masters of the Universe. Like, just some beautiful paintings.
Oh yeah.
When you get any of those newer books, like the collected editions of the mini comics, or they're all Earl Norman paintings on the front covers. Ooh. Very cool. Very painterly.
Yep.
Yeah, love that stuff. So I'm going to say yes. Let's make it an Earl Norman reference. I'm going to say yes to that.
Yes and yes.
Yes, a double yes. So I'm just adding some more Prussian blue now into his face and really starting to blue up the green on his face now. Which allows me to sort of get into the edge of some of that weird shell-like coral that's happening around his face.
Mm-hmm.
His barnacles.
It's got to be painful.
Yeah, well, it's hard when people make comment on your barnacles. Judgments everywhere.
Uh-huh. Merman, you get a little something on your face.
What's going on with the... I know it's been a year since Christmas dinner last, but what's with the barnacle, Uncle Merman?
Not many reflective surfaces in the deep, really.
That's right. Oh, look, Andrew's maybe a precog because he's talking about the G.I. Joe. You know what you and I were talking about last week.
Oh yeah. So that's happening.
Yes. The Art of G.I. Joe. That'd be cool, man. Does that have all of the artwork on the backing boards on the action figures? Because they were cool. Remember how it always had the painted version of Cobra Commander or one of those with the red and yellow explosion?
Yep.
That was always cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, those blister cards, always very impressive, very eye-catching.
Yes.
We'll push.
So we just had a few more people join us. So
Welcome,
Kenny,
welcome.
give them a little bit of an intro as to what we is and what we're doing.
Indeed. Welcome to everybody joining in on the stream. We appreciate you hanging out. Happy Friday evening if you're stateside, and happy Saturday morning if you're down under. We are currently on character 3 of our Masters of the Universe art challenge, right? The first one was Beastman. The second was He-Man, right? If you follow the YouTube channels and check out our live streams, you will see the streams for those because we did those live.
Mm-hmm.
And on our social media, for Will and I, you will see the finished products. And currently we're working on character number 4, which is Merman.
Which is kind of, besides Beastman, which is very humanistic, this is kind of the first monster, really, isn't it, that we've done?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, because Beastman was a bit more on the primal, like more ape.
Humanoid. Yeah.
It was more ape.
Yes. Which I'm kind of enjoying, like doing Merman, who's just, you can sort of unlink the chain a little bit of letting the monster come out in him a bit more.
Absolutely. I agree. That this one feels, more of a, like he's more of a separation.
Yes.
Of what we're very familiar with.
Well, I'm trying to think of some of the other characters that maybe are as alien as he looks. Like Too Bad was pretty bad. Like in terms of
yeah. I mean, yeah, for the most part, most of them are very humanoid.
Yeah, he's an odd duck, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's the oddest.
Yeah. Oh, look, Lance says Buzz-Off. Buzz-Off had that hornet face. Yeah.
Okay, true.
Now, we've got a bit of chats here too on the G.I. Joe stuff. So Andrew's saying all the licensed G.I. Joe stuff, not just figures and vehicles, art, but lunchboxes, novels, toy train. That sounds cool.
Ooh,
might have to get that book.
Very cool.
And then Lance says he managed to track down one of the artists of the old Marvel G.I. Joe comic. Wow. That's very cool. Was that Larry Hama? Did he do
Larry Hama?
Yeah.
It's Larry Hama. He does a lot of conventions on the East Coast.
Is he still doing the G.I. Joe stuff? I thought he made a comeback with that stuff.
He did make a comeback with it.
Yeah.
He did make a comeback with it. But it was I mean, I don't know if he's still on it, but I do know that the last time I saw Larry, it was at a con in, I want to say it was 2019.
Yeah.
2019. He was like already produced, like he came to the show with stuff for the comeback.
Right.
Because he was like working on his stuff like live at the con. He kind of gave me like a grumpy old man vibe. Like
I love that.
Yeah.
the Gran Turismo Comic Con.
Yeah.
That's great.
Like people were super happy to see him, and he was like, nah. You know what I mean?
Love it. I love that.
Oh man.
So one of the other Masters of the Universe artists that I love is the artist that did all the packaging for He-Man early on.
Cool.
And they were all in oil paints, which are beautiful. You can still get prints from him. He still does conventions.
Okay. And that was all oil?
Yeah. Because when they were doing the initial idea for it, they wanted someone that could paint like Frazetta.
Okay.
So they wanted that kind of natural sheen that
those
that oil
softer
paint,
kind of
oil
textures.
paints give. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So Rudy Abrero is his name, and,
Ah.
and I love Rudy. I saw an interview with him once where they said when they came down and saw him, they said, "Oh, listen, can you paint like Rosetta?" And he was like, "Hey, man, I can paint like anybody. Just give me the job, I'll figure it out."
You cut that check. I'll pay like
Yeah,
Santa
yeah.
Claus.
But yeah, he still goes to power cons and different conventions like that. He still sells some work, but
Oh, sweet.
yeah, very cool. So what's Andrew saying here? He's got the typos happening again. Mike Vosberg does local shows out here. He worked at Marvel, but does his own stuff. Laurie Lovecraft. Very cool. Horror and cheesecake mixed together.
Well,
You've always loved cheesecake.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not gonna elaborate so much on cheese.
I think leave it at that. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Take out of that what you will, people.
There you go.
Yeah.
Larry Hamm is still writing G.I. Joe. It just relaunched at Image Skybound issue 301. I think 302 is already out. See, yeah, there it is.
And being grumpy, we love that about him.
And being grumpy, like he's a show, just like just angry, like
Just
like Mr. Magoo.
Yeah.
Like
Mr. Magoo.
Can I commission you for a Duke?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
very begrudgingly draws a very simple Duke.
Yes.
I mean,
Even a headshot would be cool. It's a headshot of Duke. Just anything, Larry, anything.
Headshot.
Well, how old would Larry be now? Like he'd have to be 80, wouldn't he?
Nah, Harry's not that old, dude.
You don't reckon?
Larry's not that old.
How old do you reckon Larry is?
Man, well, I mean, the last time I saw him, he has to be in the 60s.
Yeah, right. Okay.
He's got to be in the 60s. Let me see. Let me Google that.
He'd have to be a Perez contemporary, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Because even George wasn't that old. See, Larry Hama. Oh wow, he's 74.
There we go. See, those guys of the 80s, the 1980s are aging. It's
so that adds up, yeah. Because he hasn't been in the 60s when I saw him.
Man. I love that they all turn into Edward G. Robinson.
He tried to get on Hammer's list that shows, but it fills up right. Oh, it definitely does. It absolutely does. And for the record, the show that I saw Larry at, it wasn't like a big show. This wasn't like New York Comic Con or anything. This was like a local. Yeah, dude, this was like a local show in West Palm Beach.
Right.
It was like a little 2-day show that it really centered more so on like toys.
Yeah.
Right? Like vintage toys, like buy, sell, trade.
Yep.
And like the comic aspect was a bit of a byproduct. It was like something that was like there as an adornment, just
maybe that's why he was grumpy, was he?
No, I mean, because people were there with like GI Joes and stuff.
Oh, right. Yep.
So they probably wanted him to like sign their their blister cards.
Yeah.
And there were like he had like GI Joe sketch covers.
Yes.
From IDW.
So I'm thinking for these little fins on his head that we talked about if we recreated them as action figure helmets, but I'm thinking for the fins, I might come back and put a little bit of scaling on them, like a texture,
Ooh, I do like that.
it's like a membrane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just so
So
everything doesn't look too rendered. I don't want it to look like a Pixar movie, you know. Like I
right,
want
right.
some areas to be quite
You
rough.
you could possibly get away with making the space in between the I guess the webbed part
Yeah.
feel thinner, sort of like
Yes.
a bat wing,
Yeah.
or you know what I mean.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So it's got
So
a
maybe I'll
little.
flip it. I'll do that, and then the texture on the actual main head.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Give it that kind of stretched
Yeah.
membrane effect.
All those guys that used to work for Bollywood always have stories. Yeah, I would agree with that. And they're probably grumpy at cons.
Wally Wood. That's a name you don't hear very often anymore.
Nope.
I loved his Thunder Agents. Thunder Agents was my favorite Wally Wood work.
Mm.
Did you have much to do with that?
No.
That's a very cool property.
What's it about?
It's so Dan DiDio, when he was part of DC, they bought that property.
Okay.
Thunder Agents, and they tried releasing it. It didn't really take off very well, but it's like a United Nations secret force of people with different abilities,
Okay.
and it's all usually most of it. If I remember, most of it's around technology. So, like a belt that could give someone super strength for a certain amount of time.
Oh, okay.
And the Raven would have these claws that would like anti-gravity. You could fly and had like Raven claws that would come out.
Yeah.
And the speedster of the group, the Flash of the group, the more he ran, the quicker he aged.
Oh, okay. So there was
There was
consequences to using the power.
to the power, yeah. Yeah, so it was pretty cool. I loved it.
That's interesting. Yeah. Thunder.
It's one of those books, though, that really works well if you did it as a period piece. Like if you did it in the time it was meant to be set in.
So like
like
mid-century kind of deal.
Yeah, if they try to make it contemporary, change the costumes. It just didn't quite feel what it was, you know.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha. That does sound cool.
Yeah, it was a good story.
And it was Thunder Agents, you said?
Thunder Agents, yeah.
I'm gonna look into that.
All right, Andrew's posing a question. Pixar Merman versus Finding Nemo. Even old children. Who wins? I'm going with Nemo.
Yes.
He's got Bruce the Shark. He's got mates. I don't know if Merman's got any mates. I think he's flying solo.
Yes. I think it'd be a more even fight if it were Dory. You know,
with the memory loss issues.
If it were Dory, yeah.
No offense to people that have memory loss issues.
Why are we here? Who knows? I don't know.
I don't know. Why the corn cob?
Yeah. In case I get hungry and vital.
There you go. Vets reckons he Nemo too.
Now, what did you use there for the eyes?
So for the eyes itself, I sort of used a bit of that alizarin crimson.
Okay.
Mixed it in with the lemon yellow. So I'm keeping with my local colours.
Okay.
And that's when I did this red sort of rim around the outside.
Interesting.
For the inside, I added straight ivory black with the red. That's a very, 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 very dark red. You can't even see the red in it. It's that dark. But it still allows the black to be tinted, so there's less blue in it, or less yellow in it.
Because
now down the bottom, I just added a bit of the Prussian blue with the black and white, and they gave it the reflected orb-like effect at the bottom.
Because I do like that outer rim. That outer rim looks really cool. I'm gonna try to emulate that a bit.
Give it that real fishy look.
Yeah,
The
really,
marketplace fish.
yeah. So I'm gonna use some of this this red, and a bit of this blue, a little more red into it. Yeah, I'm gonna fill it with that. Right.
So we just got a few more guests popping in. So I just want to say welcome to everybody
Welcome.
from around the globe, because we are streaming everywhere.
Yep.
And just want to say it's a bit of a plug for us too, for Kenny Calderone and myself. If you want to help us out, please like and subscribe and click notify on both of our YouTubes. That way it helps to inform you as to when our shows pop up, but also it helps us in terms of getting our product out there as well. Kenny has an amazing Etsy shop with lots of product with various prices. You can always get on there and find some great opportunities, high end scale and also low end scale in terms of prices, but not quality. They're all great quality. And follow us along at our socials as we move through our weeks. We give you updates on many different things. Andrew says, used to watch Bob Ross, also use alizarin crimson. I used to think it was lizard crimson. I still don't know what an alizarin is. I think it is lizard crimson. I'm going with that now.
I think we all made that mistake at some point.
Yes. Indeed. So I was telling everyone about your Upper Deck series that you've been doing, Ken.
So yeah, for about going on 4 years, I've been a sketch card artist for Upper Deck, doing sketch cards for a few different intellectual property, actually, because it started off with Marvel exclusively, and then it sort of like branched off into movie products, and some historical properties as well. Because I did a set that was themed after the Wild West, right?
Very cool.
So that one was really cool. I did a set that was based on cosmic, I guess, bodies, right? Like planets and moons and such. And outside of that, it was like movie properties, like Jay and Silent Bob, The Crow.
Yes.
A lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. So I mean, by simply punching my name into like an eBay search, like you're bound to come across like something that I did for Upper Deck.
Mm.
Or anywhere that they sell like hobby cards or cards that are like non-sport. And I'm starting the year with another set. Premiere was the most recent Marvel set, which was a premium set because those cards were thick, and they came like with multiple panels, right? So like in some cases there were like oversized sketch cards that were the size of a postcard, cards that opened up into 2 to 5 panel books, like little mini booklets.
Yeah, cool.
right? So those were a lot of fun to do. I posted a lot of them on my Instagram page for Wilding Studios.
Yes.
So if you guys are interested and are curious, you can definitely check those out on Wilding Studios on Instagram. Push.
What's Andrew saying? You used to watch Bob Ross, also use Alizarin Crimson. Oh, I just read that one out. Yes. Well, still don't know what alizarin is. Alizarin, if I'm correct, is a very, very old pigment. I think we're going back nearly 3,000 years. Like it's a very old, maybe 2,000 years, 3,000. Anyway, it's used to be a clothing dye.
Oh,
But it is based upon a natural pigment from the madder plant, or madder plant, I think it is. But it's a natural pigment, and that's where the alizarin comes from. But yeah, it's been used over and over as a cooler rose color because it's got a lot of blue in it. A lot of blue in the red to make it that sort of cool red.
gotcha. Fun fact.
There you go. I'm full of information that doesn't make me money.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, here we go. Something about. Do you feel like Marvel promotes the cards properly, Kenny? Do you feel like they do?
Marvel does a terrible job of promoting their cards. I thought they stopped that decades ago. I bought a few old ones that are graded for life. Well, the thing is that it's not like how it was back in the day, right?
The market's different. Yeah.
Right, because it was a different market. Like people were still heavily purchasing like baseball cards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the market today is a little different, and so is the consumer, right?
Would you say that's because the speculator market has changed, or what do you think's happening there? Because they moved into cards and then they moved into comics, didn't they? Like in the 90s.
Yeah. So the thing is that they don't necessarily promote it because it's not like what really makes them money.
Yeah.
Right. What really makes them money is obviously the movies, right? So obviously you're gonna see promotions for movies everywhere. But once upon a time, when it was something relatively new, they were promoted heavily.
Right.
Now, these days, because of the market, it's become something that's like a niche kind of
Right.
subculture that follows these collections.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That like I didn't think sketch cards were a thing until I did a show I think it was in North Carolina. It was I think it was a show that I was in for I think it was Raleigh, North Carolina, and I saw this artist, and he wasn't like like a famous well-known guy, but he was making sketch cards hand over fist.
Yeah, right.
His art was good, and people were getting these sketch cards, and he was doing pretty well at them.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, after that weekend, I found out that like sketch cards were like there's a market for it.
Yeah.
Just like there's a market for cards for Magic the Gathering.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That sure, there's people that play the game, but there's people that actually collect the cards for the sake of collecting the cards because of the art that's on the card.
Sure enough, anything produced, there's a collector for it, isn't there, somewhere?
Absolutely, 100%, 100%. And with with the sketch cards, it's kind of kicked up a notch because this is original artwork that you're
Yes,
getting
right.
in the card packs. So you're guaranteed to get something that's one of one,
Yep.
from an artist that Upper Deck has invited to work on the set.
Yep. And you're about to start a new set, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm actually waiting for my set to arrive in the mail.
Yeah. Well done, man. Congratulations.
It's thank you. And it's one of those things that I enjoy, and I try to keep in touch with the talent agent for Upper Deck, and apparently Marvel Premiere was a really popular set, so they're bringing me back for another run of Premiere.
That's cool.
Yeah. The new Marvel Masterpiece set was like $40 for 3 cards. Believe it, because they're all like hand. You would assume that they're all like hand painted pieces. Now, were they mass produced, or were you getting like original artwork on those Marvel Masterpieces? Because $40, could be expensive, or it could be like right on the money, depending on if it was mass produced or if you got like some original work.
Right.
I know Magic cards are popular still, but just didn't know about comic book cards as a thing still. So when it comes to the comic book cards, you get a little more bang for your buck if it includes like some original artwork, or like there's like specialty sets where they'll theme the set after like a movie property. You know what I mean? Like those are still like doing pretty well, right? There's a shop in Pittsburgh that follows me on Instagram because like some of my work had ended up in the sets that they pulled.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And I've seen what some of those sets go for. Like a box set, you're looking at spending anywhere between $50 to $60.
Wow.
But you're guaranteed to get a few original sketch cards, in the set, along with like some rare cards.
That's the thing now, isn't it? People buy them as a whole box rather than like when we were kids and you go down and buy a pack of 5.
Yeah, you got to get the little pack.
You buy back then. Now you buy a whole box set, which guarantees you something in there, right?
Yeah. So Lance says no, they were not hand painted. There was a chance, but not 1 for 1 in a pack. So yeah, in that regard, it's kind of pricey, right? I guess I just need to wait for Disney to buy Upper Deck, and then they will promote it to me endlessly. Well, Disney just put out a card game. I don't know if you guys are aware of it.
Did they really?
They just put out a card game that just came out. I think it was in August. Hold on, I'll tell you what it's called right now. Card game. It's called Lorcana.
Oh.
So all the cards. So think of Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh, but with Disney properties.
Wow. Okay.
Right, and all the artwork is beautifully done on all the cards.
Yeah, nice.
Right, and they even go as far as actually crediting the artist printed on the card.
Wow.
Right, so like and it's really beautiful stuff.
So they're building a collector's market.
Yep, they're trying to get in where they can fit in. And I don't blame them.
No, well, they're going to break the market. I'm surprised that they haven't pushed the role-playing stuff like D&D's been so popular with its edition,
Give it a chance.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're not working on something like that for sure.
You know, give them time
Because
because
they've got a big universe, like even if it's just the Marvel stuff, like a massive universe to play in.
oh yeah. But see, the cool thing about the Lorcana stuff that this is like the classic Disney stuff, right? Because
Yeah,
I think Disney just hit like what the 100-year mark or something
yep.
last summer. So this is like the classic Disney stuff. So it's like Winnie the Pooh as like a wizard, and he's like, you know, uh using honey and his magic and stuff. It's cool.
Oh
Like
yeah, that's cool.
it's cool looking stuff. And then like each card has like stats for the character and like their abilities and all that. It's very interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
Apologies if I'm chatting too much. I have a thick skin, so just tell me to slow down. No offense will be taken. No, you're good, Andrew. You're good. Marvel does promote their role playing game. I know about that. Yeah. Marvel definitely promotes their stuff. So like their RPG, they'll definitely promote that. But the upper deck stuff, that's really up on the upper deck because they license the Marvel property, and even then it's like limited to what like upper deck is able to like put out there. You know what I mean? Because it's still subject to licensor approval.
Right.
Last year, Disney was 100 for Amazing Spider-Man. They did variant covers where they homaged the classic covers, but in Mickey Mouse and their Disney. So, see, that's awesome. That's awesome. You know, I love it when they're able to, you know, do little mashups like that.
It's been interesting watching all the copyright stuff now with Steamboat Willie.
Oh yeah.
It's been interesting to watch.
That's to be expected though, because you know people were waiting to lean into that.
Yeah. I saw a copyright lawyer say he had a great perspective on it. You know, he goes, Disney should be very pleased and honored to see someone or people reinterpreting their work just as they had reinterpreted all the public owned properties that they've used.
True.
I thought that's a very interesting but probably disagreed with view from by Disney.
but that's real. That's
yeah,
real.
right.
Because a lot of the fairy tales that they you know they've labeled as you know Disney classics.
Yeah.
A lot of those fairy tales are like dark stories. They're not meant for kids.
Right. Well, you look at all the grim fairy tales, way different.
True.
Oh, what's this? Marvel's got a rewards program for interacting with their website. Perfect for us mindless collectors. The rewards are rubbish, but I learned a lot about Marvel licensed stuff. That's cool.
There you go. I mean, you know, if they did more to, I guess, respect the IPs and less pandering to political messages and such, I think.
Oh, yes.
You know, it wouldn't have to be reduced into, you know.
Agreed. But I think they're learning their lessons slowly.
Yeah.
Well, how many millions can you lose? How many millions can you lose before you reflect? You know?
This is true.
Money speaks. If they weren't losing all that money, they might be a different approach. But
right,
it's going to sting what the bank account is. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. That's how you do it. You speak with the dollars.
Yes, sir.
So I'm adding a bit more of this cobalt blue to sort of pull out some of the details that I may have lost with the mixing of the color here, right? But I mean, the camera can't really pick it up too much, but these grays that you see through the color are
Yeah.
part of the paper bag neck, right?
Yes.
And I'm just gonna pull out some of those textures with the
Paper
cobalt.
neck. Good old paper neck.
Good old paper neck.
Again, no offense to anybody that actually has a paper neck, but without Merman,
Yes, with Merman, you now have awareness.
yes. I agree, Lance. You have to be careful with the use of characters and names and trademarks. It'd be very interesting to see what happens in the next few years when Superman becomes available and Frankenstein and all these other things that were, Batman, like that'll be 1940s, so that'll be coming out. So it's all of those things will eventually be coming into our wheelhouse of interpretation. So
I mean, look at what they did with Winnie the Pooh. As soon as Winnie the Pooh became public domain, they started making horror movies. And
well, there's one in production for Steamboat Willie already.
There you go.
They've been waiting.
I believe it.
Yeah, they've been
I
waiting.
believe it.
So
then,
we'll have to start that gouache painted Superman story pretty soon, Kenny.
Oh yeah.
So we'll have it out on time.
Oh yeah. For I don't know if there are any gamers presently in the room, but Life of P is a twist on the Pinocchio story.
Right.
And the game is phenomenal.
Well, you had the Guillermo del Toro version too that just came out.
True. And I love Guillermo del Toro's work.
Yes. And that was kind of beautiful, the stop motion animation on that.
Oh yeah.
So my Merman on screen's looking fairly dark, but it's not as dark as that. For some reason, the screen's making it look a lot darker. But
no, I dig it because I can see the separation in the webs. That's
nice. I think the yellow tends to throw the dark off, but once I darken that yellow, it'll come forward again.
Well, yeah, once you throw a little more depth and shadows into the yellow, like it'll pull back a bit.
I might put a little bit of yellow ochre into the lemon.
Yeah. Comic books are how I learned about public domain IP. Once Wizard of Oz entered it, there were tons of comics. Same with Alice in Wonderland. Absolutely. That old Mickey Mouse newspaper strip went some dark places. The 30s were a hard time. You're telling me.
Yeah.
You're telling me. That was
the reflection of the time, the Great Depression, everything that was going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you going to treat around his eyes, Kenny? So you've got that coral yellow. Are you going to do any textural stuff around that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm waiting for this to settle a bit more because I don't want to overwork it because I'm gonna end up pulling paint out.
Yes.
So that I can come in with something that's a bit more opaque for those textures. I mean, at the end, I'm still gonna apply some ink to this.
Are you? Yep.
Some black ink, right? Because there's gonna be some hard blacks in some areas just to reinforce that murky night effect that I'm trying to convey.
Yep.
And I'm gonna whatever I leave alone, I'm gonna hit it with the white so that we get that glisten off the scales.
Yes, because he's wet.
Yes. Yes, indeed. So I'm just kind of adding some of those cobalt blues so I get a little bit of clearer shape language in some areas with the muscle tone and such.
Yep.
And push some areas into shadow.
Good night to Lance Stewart. Thanks for coming out, buddy. We'll see you next time. Have a great week.
Have a great one, Lance. Thanks for showing up. Lance Stewart, ladies and gentlemen. The man, the myth, the legend. So I will say that at my last con, which was last month,
Yep.
I came across like some '80s babies
Mm.
that saw the He-Man and Beastman and nearly lost their minds. Right?
We like to hear that.
Because where is there, where are you going to come across some nostalgia like that?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll tell you where on our live
Yeah,
streams.
they bam. See, I like that. That's how you do that, there, Will. That's how you do that.
Right here on this channel.
That's here exactly. I like that. Good save, Will. Good save.
Especially when we've been talking about what we've been talking about with the future live streams.
Yep.
I think we'll be leaning right into that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you get me more and more excited about mechs the more we talk about it.
Oof. I'm really excited for that one.
Yeah.
Really, really excited for that one because we can do a couple things with that. Like, shoot, we could even explore some classic old school anime if you feel funny. Some Battle of the Planets.
Oh, stop it.
Ultron. I'm talking dirty now, huh?
You're getting me excited. You're getting me excited with the bop. When you start talking bop.
I'm talking dirty now, huh?
Oh my god.
Dude,
that would be a dream. If I could ever work on a Battle of the Planets book, that would be a dream project for me.
And I think your style would work for that.
I'd stay there forever. I'd be the Larry Harmer of Battle of the Planets. I'd just stay there. That's right. I love it.
I had to change this water. Give me a second, ladies and gentlemen. Gotta change the water.
Gotta get rid of the swamp water.
Yeah.
So while Kenny's doing that, I'll just explain what I'm doing. I'm sort of moving through the yellow coral now, and I've got a little bit of that alizarin crimson in with the yellow ochre, which gives me a nice sort of brown that sort of marries with the yellow nicely. So I'm going to put this in to darken up some of those facial features as I move through here. This blends with the nicer green and the blues. And sort of knocks it back a little bit in tone.
All right, back. So while I allow all of the values that I applied to Merman to settle a bit more, I'm going to drop in my larger values for the water. All right. And the things that will be floating in the water, I'm going to do that in black, but I'm not going to do that in ink so that they remain relatively soft in comparison to what I do with the ink. Right? Because I like playing around with the visual textures because it's like, the eye tends to separate that in a way where it creates the illusion of depth.
Absolutely. Yep.
Push this into some deeper yellow. All right. Now let's go get the big brush. Big brush, big brush, big brush. Big flat brush.
So when do you start to apply your background? Are you going to get your foreground worked out first, Kenny? Is that your plan?
Yeah, I'm going to get the foreground laid in, right, or at least blocked in, right? Because some areas I'm going to leave negative.
Yeah.
And I can pull out a bit so you guys can see that in its entirety. I'm gonna leave some areas negative, right?
Yep.
So that it gives me a little bit of leeway to do some harder whites with the ink, with the white ink.
Yep.
Right. And then I'm going to come back in here and drop a lot of this into shadow, give him the glares, the scales on his body.
Yep. The sheen. Yep.
Yes, indeed. Let's wake up this purple. And then I want to go in there nice and flat.
So if you have joined us and you're painting or drawing along, we'd love to see your work.
Absolutely.
Feel free to post it on the Artists of the Universe on Facebook, because it is a community site where we just want to promote artists. It's not about anyone owning that page. It's just about having a good time and supporting each other in the process of creating.
Yes. The process of creating and the process of developing yourself.
Yes.
Right? Because it's all about growth.
Kenny and I are both teachers. We don't teach to diminish. We teach to grow and expand people.
Yep.
And so that's what the Facebook site's about as well.
Absolutely. So do not be intimidated. Do not be shy. You know, that like Will and I have, we've been doing this for a while, but, it's important that one remains a student of
Yes.
craft, right? In order to continue to be better. Because for as much as, we may be super knowledgeable or what have you, but there are still things that, like speaking for myself, like there's still things that I'm not 100% on and I could always work on.
I don't think you ever get to 100%, do you really? Like it's always something else. There's always another height to climb and another thing you want to work on. It's I remember when I used to do life drawing classes, I had this wonderful teacher named Lorna, and she was later in age, and she said her husband and her were life artists, like they would draw life drawing all the time, and only now at her age was she able to work without a model.
Wow.
Like she said it was always something new that the body would be teaching her that she wanted to learn, always. And I can understand that because I know when I'm doing portraits, you get sick of your own file of facts in your brain of what a face looks like. It's nice to learn different folds and expressions, and the human face will always teach you something new.
True.
If you allow.
Absolutely. So here I'm playing with two different purple values. Little bit of violet, a little bit of purple.
Yeah. It's giving it that real sunsetty feel there.
Yeah, that's
it's dusk. Like it's dusk.
Yeah. Like that's what I'm going for. This one, I'm terrible. I mean, really terrible. But just a pencil and a piece of paper, it can be relaxing. I suggest a still life with junk on your desk. I agree.
Yeah,
absolutely. I agree. Look, one of the things that I always tell my kids is that, to be good at this, to be not, I won't even say good. I would say, competent at it.
Yeah.
It doesn't require a whole lot of time. 20 minutes a day, and it doesn't even need to be like finished artwork. It could be studies, it could be
Yeah.
sketches, it could be whatever. But it's important that you just exercise the muscle.
Yeah. This is almost like a year-long Inktober for us,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's it gets us honing our craft. You only get better by just doing it, just jumping in and doing it.
Mm-hmm.
To answer your question, I'm using tracing paper, so it just helps me to see underneath where I'm still working, and I find it less absorbent. Even paper absorbs my sweaty hand as it's laying on the paper, so the tracing paper doesn't tend to do that as much, which is good.
Nice.
So that's what I'm using as I paint in his paper neck. Yeah, you've got that real Twilight kind of dusk feeling happening there, Kenny, with that pink and purples.
That's what I'm going for, because I wanted to definitely push Merman forward.
Yeah, like you could even darken that whole foreground of Merman up.
Oh,
And just
absolutely.
have the light winking from behind. I mean, that would be a creepy image.
Yeah, like right through here.
Right up. Yeah, just have like an outline of highlight from
Yeah.
the light coming behind. That would be cool. Because the He-Man universe has those funky sunsets and skies. Like
Yeah.
we got the bizarre, multiple suns and weird sort of rock formations. It's very cool.
Lends itself to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get some of these. Do I need a darker blue? I think I might need a darker blue. Let's see. Let's wake this blue up.
So we are we're over the 3-hour mark now. We're at 3 hour 15. So we're probably going to have to wrap it up pretty soon for this week.
Yeah. So that's my fault, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I apologize.
Not at all, man. Not at all. We're still doing it.
Again, I apologize. Right, it is not typical of me to be tardy for the party.
Such a delicate genius. I don't know.
It is not like me to be tardy to the party, right? but yeah. So what I think is I'm gonna drop in some of this shadow. All right, and I think we can call it after that one.
Yeah, sounds good. And I do want to say thank you to everyone who joined us today. We had a lot of people out, which is great.
Absolutely. Again,
it's
happy
been lovely,
New Year to everybody. Happy New Year to everybody that dropped in tonight. Everyone here stateside, everyone down under. It's very encouraging to see so many people kind of pop in and ask questions, and because this is what it's about, right? Asking questions, removing the mystique of anything that's that you may encounter as difficult in these live streams. That honestly, I'm discovering a little bit about myself. I'm discovering new things as I go. That the process of art and painting is one of problem solving on the fly.
It is, yes.
So we encourage you guys to paint and draw along with us, and like Will mentioned, posting on the Artists of the Universe page on Facebook.
Do it. That's what it's for.
Yes, indeed. So here, drop some more over yonder. Be mindful of the shape language. So now it's blue.
Thanks, Yvette. And yes, the banter is a bonus for us as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, you know, it's important. It's important.
Yeah.
Right. That, you know, it was one of the things that I enjoyed most about sharing a studio space with other artists.
Yeah.
Is that even though we would all kind of like be off in our own studio space, you know, we would leave the doors open so we could just kind of shout weird things at one another from across the hall.
Yes.
And it was the osmosis.
Yes.
You know, you feed off of one another. That you guys will see it in every stream. I'll ask Will questions about his process, and I'll try to, you know, incorporate something that he's done into what I'm doing, and vice versa. And you know,
vice versa. Yeah.
The osmosis is important for growth.
And we kind of hit our run with the last live streams we used to do too. I mean, this is just a continuation of that, I suppose, isn't it?
Yes. This might be a little dark, but it's okay. Not bad. Not bad.
So what's the next convention you're appearing at, Kenny?
My next con is going to be Beyond Comic Con in North Miami Beach. So if you guys are in the South Florida area in February, Beyond Comic Con, I believe, is February 18th, which is a Saturday. And it's a one-day event, but it's free admission at the door. And, you know, it's a very family-friendly con. I'll be there with copies of my art book. Volume 2 is still in production. I'm like building Volume 2 of the Art of Kenny Calderon, and I may have copies of Tragedy the manga with me for that event, as well as some new art prints that I've been working on. Nice.
Which the artwork on that Tragedy manga looked great. I remember you showing me the internal work on that. Very nice.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm very, very proud of it. You know, everyone that I've shown has been very impressed with it.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm gonna have it at my table in time for the anime con that I'm going to be doing in May, as well as Puerto Rico Comic Con in March.
That's in March, is it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. I believe it's the last weekend in March.
Right.
And yourself, Will? What do you got lined up?
What am I doing? Did you say?
Yeah.
So at the moment, got a sale on Etsy. So all the Legendary Series 1 that I have remaining, there's only about 5, I think, that are for sale, as well as other assorted artwork. And at the moment, I am just building content. So doing a bit of writing over the next week. So we talked about that last week and working on these future shows. And I'm really just putting things in motion for the year, really. So some exciting things are coming. So I've just ordered some canvas and frames that are arriving this week. So I'm doing some oil painting as well. So yeah, so it'll be interesting. Start building the content on the YouTube and then hit the ground running for this year. So it's going to be interesting.
Are you available for tattoos?
I am. The books are pretty full at the moment.
That's good.
So it's kind of, it is good. It's back to back, and I'm still constructing the studio. So I'll probably be moving things out of the way to fit the chair in. So it's been very interesting. Nice. But yes, all of that and more. So 2024 is going to be a big year, I think.
Good. You love to hear it.
Yeah.
You love to hear it.
And if we can keep these live streams up, we'll get through our list of 52 Motu characters.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of looking forward to some of the really obscure ones I haven't done before.
So am I.
Yeah, like I haven't done a Man-at-Arms before. That's going to be interesting. Not that he's obscure, but some of the other weird ones like Buzz Off. I've never done a Buzz Off before.
Yeah, I got it. I mean, because like if you're gonna do a Masters of the Universe character, of course you're gonna do He-Man, you're gonna do Skeletor, you're gonna do like the main cast, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Who's gonna say, "Ooh, I want to do Merman"? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes. But one's like a scare glow. That would be an interesting one to do.
You know, like who's gonna volunteer for that?
Nobody. Not even him. Look at him. He doesn't know what time it is.
Yeah.
Off the meds Merman doesn't know where he is. Maybe that's why he's so angry. Like, what? He's got his Larry Harmer going. Snout spout, absolutely, Andrew.
There you go.
And yeah, we did switch places because I think Kenny, you jumped out for a second.
Yeah.
And then you jumped back in and you switched places with me on the screen. It was weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Here's what it is.
Indeed.
Yeah, Snout spout would be an interesting one.
Yeah. Let me look that one up.
Fake or would be fun to do. I'm looking forward to Fake or too. He's towards the end, I think, on our list.
Oh wow. Okay. That is interesting.
Yeah, the elephant.
Yeah. He's just
Cobra Khan is another good one.
A man with a metal elephant head.
Yeah.
But he's got the parking brake. He's got the parking brake in the axe.
He does. Yes. I can't unsee it now. It's everywhere.
He's got the parking brake. That's going to be fun. So there's a lot of these that, are super obscure.
Yeah.
But, they'll be interesting because it's like, even though the character is very obscure and, again, speaking for myself, I've not drawn many of the Motu characters. Like it'll put me in a state where I have to figure out how I'm gonna make this really silly looking character look cool,
look convincing. Right?
Yeah, like really feel like a threat and not like a kid you want to make fun of in the playground.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Or both.
Yeah, or both. Like that's been my objective with everyone up to this point. I mean,
yes.
Beastman was my experiment. It was like, can I make Beastman look cool, right? And and I think it came up pretty decent.
You did,
you know. And then He-Man's kind of straightforward because he's like the mascot, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like Merman. How do you make Merman look menacing?
Yeah. The good thing about that is that Merman, the pressure's off. Like I felt the pressure release a bit with Merman because I wasn't trying to do like how many iterations of He-Man have we seen? Lots.
Right.
But Merman, I thought I could do a Merman. There's no stress with that.
Yeah.
And he's such a goofy looking dude. Like if mine looks goofy, then I've just followed the product.
There you go. I think I'm gonna like give him the little needle teeth.
Yes, I did that. The little piranha teeth. Yeah.
Yeah, with a little gel pen to make it feel sharp.
Yes.
Let's get a bit of blues.
Mechaneck, Andrew says.
Mechaneck.
Mechaneck.
There we go.
Yes, he did have limited uses in battle. I think probably compromised himself many times.
Yes.
And he had those crazy ass goggles as well.
Yeah,
like he was in part of the Jabberjaws gang or something, and then he's out there fighting on the battlefield. Like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah, it's like, that there's nothing practical about Mechaneck.
No, and he had that odd shaped helmet too.
Yeah,
like it was an angular, wasn't it? An angular helmet.
Yeah, it's like, Mechaneck, can you see where the enemy is coming from?
Good. Now go home. You're done.
Okay,
There's nothing else you can do. But he had a cool mace. Remember his big mace? It was like
he did have a cool mace
with no park brake.
Indeed. It was
like an
like
obelisk. His mace was
it
like
was
an obelisk.
like a
giant kaleidoscope.
Apocalyptic baseball bat.
Yes. I love how Andrew was so like delicate with it. Like, seem to have limited use in battle. We just rip into him. Like, there's no tore him apart.
Yeah, it's like
I do love how diplomatic Andrew was. Poor Mechaneck. Hey, go home.
Oh, Mick.
Go home. You can see the battle from your front yard anyway. Go home.
Go home and take your neck with you.
Neck.
Go take your neck with you.
Get your neck out of here.
I tell you. All right, ladies and gents, we're about to wrap this up.
Yep, because both of us are falling into the abyss of insanity.
We 100% appreciate all of you jumping in on the stream, and even if you're watching this after we've gone live,
yes,
we appreciate you watching this even then. Again, Happy New Year to everyone, and tune in next week as we wrap up this goofy looking guy that's off his meds.
Off meds merman.
Well,
have a great week. What Kenny said. Enjoy your week. Make it a creative one. If you want to join us next time, you've got a little bit of catch up to do, or you can pre-plan for Man at Arms, which will be the challenge after this one. We will see you then. Have a good week.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye-bye.